Hi, welcome to Faith Overhaul. So we're super excited about this interview we're going to be sharing a clip from today. Part of our journey has been the Dead Sea Scrolls, discovering the Dead Sea Scrolls and reading those texts. Dave was very fortunate to go out and in-person interview Dr. Robert Eisenman. He's a scholar, a historian, a leading expert on the Dead Sea Scrolls.
So Dr. Eisenman's going to share with us today in this brief clip of the full interview how early Judaic Christianity is different from the early Roman Christianity. What were Jews looking for in the Messiah that doesn't match what Paul's presenting is in the Christ? And why would there be a difference? Why is this important to the idea of what we believe formed what we know in Christianity in this day?
Okay, so here's why we are so excited to share the full interview with Dr. Robert Eisenman. We want to honor what role he actually played in providing the Dead Sea Scrolls for the public and for research for it to come under public scrutiny.
That's right. He was a key player in making sure that the Dead Sea Scrolls weren't just in the hands of those first few that had a limited mindset and limited scope of what they were looking at. It's been under large scrutiny and supposition that these first viewers of this were looking at it from their own specific suppositional mindset, that they had an idea of exactly what they were looking at, so then therefore they weren't able to look and see the full amount of information that's in there. The scholars who translated the text said, however, that there was no evidence to conclude that the leader mentioned was Jesus. Other experts on the scrolls were even more cautious in their interpretation, saying they had not examined the text. In announcing the discovery, Dr. Robert H. Eisenman, professor of Middle East religions at California State University at Long Beach, said the text is of the most far-reaching significance because it shows that whatever group was responsible for these writings was operating in the same general scriptural and messianic framework of early Christianity, a Messiah who suffers. Dr. Eisenman said the text showed that the scroll writers had the idea of a Messiah who would suffer and die, which had been thought to be a concept that arose only with Christianity. The usual image of the Messiah in early Judaism had been a glorious king who arrives triumphant. And this text follows the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls predates early Christianity by a couple of centuries to a few decades at least. Now what we have in here is a lot of messianic expectations about the suffering Messiah in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And we have relationship that we can correlate between Jesus, John the Baptist, James the Just, and others as being part of the community that were surrounding and reading of the Dead Sea Scrolls. So Dr. Robert Eisenman is going to share us a clip right now about one of the first key things that he understood when he was looking at this.
I started writing on the Dead Sea Scrolls. From the Dead Sea Scrolls, I wrote about early Christianity. From early Christianity, I got into the issues of what kind of Christianity we're talking about: Palestinian Christianity, overseas Christianity, Pauline Christianity, Romanized Christianity, or Dead Sea Scrolls style Christianity. Well, I think Christianity, you see, is a name based on a Greek word, Christ. So it's nothing to do with Palestine per se. But they're trying to translate in some manner a concept they don't really understand, the Messiah. The people who are working in the Greek language to present this to the Greco-Roman world, they're trying to find words that will reproduce a concept in the Hebrew language and in the scrolls or in the Bible that we're calling Messiah, Moshiach, whatever word you want to apply. And so the closest they could get was this, I don't know where they got it, frankly, this Christus, or Crestus at one point someone uses anyway. So the minute you're talking about Christ, Christus, Christianity, you know you're talking about a Greco-Roman sort of production, a Hellenized a piece of material aimed at a Greco-Roman world. So that's where you get that form from in that kind of enclave. But as I discovered, that did not reflect what I later started calling Palestinian Christianity. And I didn't even like the term Palestinian Christianity because I don't think it was Christianity in Palestine. That's a Greek term. It's really Palestinian Messianism. Palestinian Messianism. And what I discovered in doing the scrolls more and more was that other people who were working on the scrolls, but being Christians themselves, couldn't see any connection of the scrolls to Christianity, because the Christianity they knew was nothing like the Dead Sea Scrolls.
So right there you heard about 2 minutes of Dr. Eisenman sharing what was almost a full 2-hour length of interview. He has a lot of videos out there on YouTube, but I have to tell you, I really am feeling very fortunate to have gathered as much information and spoke with him in the depth of abilities that we were able to discuss with him in this interview that's different than other ones I've seen with him. It gets very deep, it gets rich, and it applies to many theological points that we assume too much about.
We encourage you to join the Faith Overhaul community at patreon.com/Faith Overhaul. There you'll find exclusive videos that are not shown on YouTube or anywhere else, as well as we have live video chats available for the Faith Overhaul community on Patreon.